Hello everyone and welcome to another Sunbros Wild Rift patch breakdown video. Today we're going to be covering patch 2.2b and joining me is Kira. Kira, how's it going today?
Oh, pretty good. I'm excited about some of these changes. There's pretty big changes coming down the pipe.
I don't know why, but I'm always excited about changes no matter what they are. Unless, of course, it's my favorite hero getting nerfed into the ground, which is not happening in this patch. Okay, so let's take a look at what we got going on. We'll skip some of this boring stuff and get to, oh my goodness, new champion. It's Rengar, the Pride Stalker. For those of you who aren't aware, we won't go into too much detail now because there's not much detail to give here. Rengar is a jungle assassin. He's obviously on the PC version of League. He's pretty cool looking. He's a snow leopard who likes to murder people. I will be using him. I've had some experience playing him in the jungle on the PC version, and I'm looking forward to using him. As you guys can see, he is released on May 6th. So coming up here in a little bit over a week, about a week and a half. Okay, then we have a secondary hero coming out. It's Kha'Zix the Void Reaver, and Kha'Zix is a jungle assassin. I've also played him on the PC version of League, and I will be definitely giving him a solid shot when he comes out on May 6th. Kiro, what do you think about the two new jungle assassin heroes coming out?
Well, Rengar's pretty straightforward, so he's going to be a pretty easy transition if you played him on PC to League or to Wild Rift. But I don't know about Kha'Zix. Seems like his playstyle is going to be a little interesting on how it's going to translate to mobile. So we'll see.
We will see on May 6th. Now we're taking a look at the next thing in that section, and it's new skins. That right there is a big, beautiful Garen with a new skin. Let's take a look at what these skins are called. We have Forecast Jaina, Program Nami, God King Darius, God King Darren. That's the skin that we were looking at right above. Death Blossom Kha'Zix and Night Hunter Rengar releasing upon release with those champions, obviously. Okay, all skins will be released throughout the patch, and just keep an eye on those release dates. New accessories. Oh my goodness, accessories. I don't think anyone cares, so we'll skip over those to the next part of the video. New events. Master of the Hunt. Ever shrouded by the fog of war, the jungles of Wild Rift can be proven deadly. Blah 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 blah. New event. It's coming out May 6th. It has to do with the new heroes, and you'll get lots of goodies. Okay, next, we have a new system called Nemesis Duel. I'm not going to go into it too much, but a duel can trigger in games if these conditions are met. Both characters are at or above level 13. Neither have dealt or taken champion damage within 5 seconds. Both are alive. Both are at least 16 units apart. So what ends up happening, I guess, it says in here, a Nemesis Duel won't happen every game under these conditions are met, but when it does, everyone in the game will know with an in-game announcement, and the champion that wins gets a bonus of some sort. So in the first Nemesis Duel in the Wild Rift game, it's going to be Rengar and Kha'Zix, and as you can see at the bottom there, wait, let me scroll down a little bit for you. As you can see at the bottom now, if Rengar wins, he gets Ferocity during his ult throughout the hunt. And if Kha'Zix wins, he gets an extra evolution point. So, pretty neat. We'll see how that actually turns out to be. But, interesting addition to the game, and we'll see how it goes. Kiro?
Yeah, well, something that they mentioned in the access, if you go back and read that, it shows that if the Rengar team wins, then they unlock an accessory. And if the Kha'Zix team wins, they'll unlock a different accessory. So there's a little bit of a
that's for the event. They're going to be doing an event, and with the two battling, and whoever wins there's going to be releasing a special accessory. It's the see above here. It's the if Kha'Zix teams wins the event, they get the Apex Predator icon, and if the Rengar team wins during the event, you're going to get the King of the Rift. Looks like icon. So I don't know. Anyways. Let's move on to everyone's favorite part, champion changes. And we're going to be starting today with Darius. Darius is getting his base health taken down from 650 to 610, and his base health regen from 9 to 7. This is obviously just an attempt to lower his early game dominance some. Kira, you play some Darius. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, he's just really, really strong early game. So that's all they're doing is just trying to slow his snowball. So we'll see how that affects him.
Alright, makes him a little less tanky. I like that. Darius seems to escape with basically 0 health all the time. That'll probably help change that some. Next, we're moving on to Draven, another champion who is a little bit too good. especially early game. And they're reducing the damage of his spinning axes by 5 points at all. No, it's 5 points at level 1, 10 points at level 2, 10 points at level... Oh, no, sorry. I'm an idiot. It's 10, 10, 10, 10. 10 points at all levels. All right. Now that we've embarrassed ourselves, let's move on to the next champion. Oh, what do you think about the Rune Changes?
It's just pretty straightforward. He does a lot of damage, especially early on, so that's mainly what they're doing, just trying to nerf that a little bit.
Excellent. All right. Now, Evelyn's getting a nerf. Basically, her ult is able to be casted too often, which I agree with. It seems like every time she goes into a fight, she can easily escape without any risk because her ult's always up. They're upping the ult's cooldown by 20 seconds at level 1, 15 seconds at level 2, and 10 seconds at level 3. What this is going to do is it's going to make Evelyn's ability to engage in ganks either less frequent or more risky. I'm game for both of those things because it seemed like literally she could just gank nonstop. What are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, as somebody who mains top lane, she's really annoying. So this just makes her more selective and have to make it better decisions and punish her more often if she's ganking without her ult.
Yep. Next, we're moving on to Galio. Galio's getting quite a few changes and a bug fix. His first change is to his base stats. His health per minute is going from 115 to 125. That's a 10 per level increase. So 150 total health by level 15. His passive, Colossal Smash, the cooldown is being reduced from 5, 4.5, and 4 to 5, 4, and 3. So a more of a late game buff than anything. And then is it a late game buff? I don't know. I don't play enough Galio. That might not be per level or by level. That might be something else. But anyways, then his first ability, Winds of War, is getting a bug fix. Fix an issue where Galio's first ability was dealing in its initial damage twice. So that's going to go away. But the percent health damage per AP ratio is going up from 1.5% to 2%.
It's interesting that they're calling out that bug fix. So they're saying that when they initially nerfed him, they didn't realize that bug was there where that initial damage was hitting twice. So they probably over nerfed him, and now they're just kind of fixing the bug and then scaling that back a little bit. So that nerf back a little bit.
Good luck to oh, I didn't realize all the text wasn't there. There's the text for you guys to see the bug issues, the changes to his first ability. All right, now we're moving on to Katarina. Katarina is too strong. I agree. They're reducing her damage on her passive Veracity. 10 levels, 10 damage at all points. And then on her third ability, Shampoo, they are reducing the range from 6.5 to 6.
Yeah, definitely necessary changes. She was really strong, especially early game. So that 10 reduction of damage on her passive early on is a higher percentage. Impacts her more at that point, but it just kind of helps mitigate some of her snowballing that she could get going. So
any nerf to Katarina was going to be happily accepted by me. Next, we're moving on to changes done to one of my favorite tanky supports, Leona. Leona is a little bit underwhelming, especially against ranged champions, so they're giving her a base health regen upgrade from 7.5 to 9. Her passive Sunlight is going to do 8 more damage at all levels, and her third ability, Zenith Blade, her basic engage ability, which makes her more capable of punishing support, long-range squishy supports when they get out of hand, is getting a range increase from 7 to 7.5.
Yeah, given that little extra damage on that passive, so when she gets dove, she's able to kind of counteract some of that damage. And then the Zenith Blade on the chase, it definitely seemed like there was something wrong with it. Just the range didn't feel right. So adding that, I don't know if it's just a hitboxes on mobile or something, but increasing that a little bit.
We'll find out what changes I made. But I think the best part about this is that, yeah, it seemed like she got bullied hard by ranged champions. And now, if they get a little bit too chippy and aggressive, Leona diving to them is going to be not only easier, but it's going to be more punishing with the upgrade to her passive. So next we're looking at Teemo, and Teemo's not getting any changes. His third ability, Guerrilla Warfare, had a bug fixed. Camouflage duration per rank up now displays correctly at 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5 instead of 3, 4, 5, 6. The duration of the actual ability is unchanged. They just fixed the actual verbiage in the tooltip. Then we're moving on to Ziggsy, who's getting... he's just too much damage. So they're adding some cooldown to his first ability. 1.5 seconds at level 1, 1 second at level 2, half a second at level 3, and even at 4.5 seconds at level 4. So he's just getting an early game nerf. I do agree with this one. It seemed like he was able to poke too often, and considering how much damage his poke does and how far away he can do it from, he was really being overwhelming against certain lower range mid laners when it came to being able to zone them out of their own farm.
Yeah, you also saw his poke strength when they meta picks when he's playing support. So probably reducing that will impact his ability for that early game bully in support as well.
All right, next we're gonna look at some duo carry changes. And by that I mean marksman. All right, duo carry changes. Starting off with Ashe. Just reducing the cooldown of volley by 1 second at all levels. Then we're gonna be talking about Tristana. Actually, Kiro, why don't you give me your thoughts on the Ashe changes? Because Tristana changes are a little bit more in depth.
Yeah, for the Ashe, they're just giving her that volley a little bit more often. Now, that's a big change end game, so she's going to have that volley quite a bit, helping her get stacks and landing those slows. So it's pretty useful for her.
Yeah, I don't think it's enough to make a huge difference, but it's there. Next, we're talking about Tristana. Tristana is actually quickly becoming one of my favorite marksmen. People who know how to use her can really use her effectively. And they're giving her a buff. Her third ability, Explosive Charge, the active base damage is going up 5 at level 1, 10 at level 2, 15 at level 3, and 20 at level 4. So pretty solid increase on the third ability, Explosive Charge. And then the base damage of her ultimate, Buster Shot, is going up 50 per level. So Tristana's getting a pretty sizable buff to her burst damage. And that was the intent, as you can see in the description below. What are your thoughts on the changes to Tristana?
Yeah, well, I think you're really going to see Tristana mains really excited about this. Having the changes that they made last patch made her more useful, and then this one just makes her even more useful, so giving her a lot more burst damage.
I agree. Next, we're moving on to Varus. So Varus is getting some interesting changes. He's getting 45 more base mana, make that 55. And his second ability, Blighted Quiver, they're changing the missing health damage that it does from 6.5 to 9.75 at level 1 to 6.5 to 13% at level 1. And then at 15, it's going to be 13.5%. It's from 13.5 to 20.25 to 13.5 to 27%. So it's going to add the missing health damage that Blighted Quiver gives to the next of his first abilities in order to do more damage. So it's an overall pretty significant health buff, or damage buff, I think. And Varus quite honestly needs it.
Yeah, for this change, they're kind of focusing on higher skill levels, because early on, like early elos, low elos, you're really not going to see people using this properly, because how you have to use it to get the most use out of it. But those higher skill levels, I think the high elos are really going to see an uptick on his usage rate. And the base mana was a 45 increase, by the way.
Yep, sure thing. All right. Next, we got Vayne. Vayne's ultimate bonus AD is going up 10 at each level, and the cooldown is being reduced 10, 5, and 0 seconds at level 1, 2, and 3. So they're definitely giving Vayne an early game buff so that she's stronger in lane. This is probably the first champion change I don't understand. I imagine that Vayne at some upper tier levels was a little too dominant. But we're playing at in kind of the silver, gold, platinum level, especially in some of these 5-man games we're playing at. It seems like Vayne is pretty strong in the right hands. So I don't fully understand this. I imagine it's things that we haven't seen quite yet.
Yeah, since she's such a high skill rate champ, I feel like this change is just trying to get her usage rate up, not necessarily buffing her like overall, just trying to get more people to use her, just because she was used quite a bit on PC, and I don't really see her that often. But when you do, she is pretty strong.
Alright, next we have Xayah. Xayah's getting changes to her second ability. They're reducing the mana from 60 to 50, and the cooldown is being reduced 1 second at every level. And then her third ability, Blade Collar, the root is going up from 1 second to 1.25 seconds. So 2 buffs to the second and third ability. Overall, I thought Xayah was a pretty strong hero already. One of the better, more potent marksmen in the game, but she's getting a buff. Not a huge fan of this, but it's not enough to make me upset.
Yeah, for this one, it's one of those where if you know how to use this the combo between these two abilities and her ult, then you're really going to see a lot of increase on, you know, viability with that combination. So, but for those that don't really know how to use that, probably not going to see much of a big difference. But you know, it's another one of those high elo changes. It feels like.
Yep. Next, we're moving on to item changes. Two quick ones. Ardent Sensor's cost is going up by 200 gold on the total cost and the combined cost. And the Harmonic Echo is going from 16 to 30 base damage to 16 to 25. And the bonus damage HP ratio from 1 to 0.8. So two nerfs to two of the kind of less tanky support items in the game. Then we're moving on to rune changes. So I will say real quick that between the changes to the buffs of Leona and the changes to these items, it seems like there's a bit of an overpoweredness with the range supports like Sona, obviously Seraphine, Soraka, and others. And they're trying to give a little bit of a nerf to the squishy long-range supports by making these items either worse or more expensive, while giving a buff to a hero like Leona who's maybe underpowered and who most needs to be able to do something against those people and you know, cut that range down, all that kind of stuff. So interesting changes. Next, we're moving on to rune changes, and they're changing Conquer. Basically saying that ranged heroes were using Conquer to effectively before fights, so they're moving the stack duration from 8 seconds to 6 seconds. Any thoughts on those changes, Kiro?
I mean, not much. I really don't feel like this is going to be a big deal unless you're a jungler that takes Conqueror. Like, so you're like farming up Conqueror.
But you'd have to be ranged anyways. But yeah.
Right, exactly. So it's like, I don't really see that being...
No, you don't have to be ranged for it to affect you, but obviously that's what it's intended for.
Right, yeah, exactly. So we'll
I think Conquer only works when you hit a champion though, so I don't know that it's going to affect junglers either. See what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, okay, I get it. All right, yeah.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they're okay. They're wanting the stacks to not last so long, so you can't stack them, and then walk away from fight, come back, and you have your Conqueror stacks.
Well, yeah, I don't think this is going to have the... I don't personally think this is going to have the intended effect that I think it's going to have, because it's like, if you're an Ezreal and you're just poking people, you know, when there's a standoff per se, and a fight hasn't begun yet, it wouldn't be hard for an Ezreal, especially late game, to get all the stacks of Conquer that he needs before a fight starts. And if I'm not mistaken, Conquer gets refreshed every time you hit a new target. So the stack duration isn't going to be affected by that, I don't think. Maybe I'm not reading it all the way correctly, but I don't know that this is going to have the intended fix of the problem, unless they have seen something where, you know, some range champions are abusing it to a really crazy extent. I don't know. I don't think it's going to fix much in that sense, but I could be wrong. So then we've got some spell changes to Barrier. They're just upping the cooldown by 30 seconds to basically saying it was being casted too often. Next, we're on to game system changes, and they've done a couple things to dragons. First, they have nerfed the Infernal Dragon. They've reduced the damage bonus. Basically, they're saying is that the Infernal and the Cloud Drakes were too powerful compared to Mountain and Ocean. So they're trying to balance them out by nerfing the Infernal and Cloud Drakes. Damage bonus is down 2% on a regular Infernal Drake or Dragon, and the Elder Infernal Dragon, the damage bonus is down 3%, and the damage bonus per stack is down by 1%. Then the Cloud Drake's movement speed bonus is down 1.5%, and then the Elder Cloud Dragon's movement speed bonus is down, 2.25%, and the movement speed bonus per stack is down 0.75%. So really, they're not insignificant nerfs to the Infernal and Cloud Drakes. Dragons rather, and I think you're going to be going after them regardless, so I don't see that as a huge deal, but they're obviously going to be less potent than they used to be. And then last but not least, Kira, what are your thoughts on the dragon changes?
Yeah, I think the Cloud Dragon's probably going to be more of a significant change than the Infernal one, because how the size of the map is smaller, so that movement speed was probably a big deal, especially if you got the Elder Cloud Dragon. But the Infernal Dragon, it seems like it's a small change, I don't know how big of an impact it's going to be. It actually, like, let's say your other team's gotten all 3 dragons, and you get the Elder Infernal Dragon. It doesn't seem like that's a big like they're nerfing that like comeback mechanic, kind of. It seems like so. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how that affects.
Yeah, we'll see how much that affects people's desire to want to get the dragons, anyways, especially these 2. But all right, last thing we have is free-to-play champion rotation coming up starting April 29th to May 5th. Ezreal, Jarvan IV, who actually I was just saying on stream I want to try out in the jungle. Jhin, Leona, Lee Sin, Malphite, Orianna, Seraphine, Rakan, and Teemo. And then May 6th to May 12th, we have Amumu, Camille, Draven, Katarina, Kennen, Lulu, Nami, Rammus, Vayne, and Zed. Alright guys, thank you for watching another patch notes breakdown video. I hope you guys are excited about the new heroes and the upcoming changes. Thanks for watching guys, and as always, until next time.